Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Palmer, and welcome to My Point of View. My Point of View is a current issue video blog that deals with issues and events as it relates to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean, and the entire world. Tonight we are going to look at the Edson Augustus saga. The drama continues. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
I felt, given his interest in community development, I went to the home for battered women. I went to prisons. I went to several institutions. My opinion, he was a hard worker and was someone who could, really represent the country in terms of his concern for people who were oppressed and needed help. That is right. When I was after the Prime Minister, I was in support of it. I'm sorry about it too.
One of the issues that came out of the Edson Augustus saga is the admission by Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that he was responsible for the appointment of Edson Augustus as Deputy Consular General. In Mr. Gonsalves' effort to explain or justify himself, he went on to explain the procedure with which he used to make such an appointment. He mentioned that he had recommendation from Clive Dutton, a very known and reputable Seventh-day Adventist pastor who practices in Trinidad and Tobago. He also mentioned the name of Dermot Batiste. Mr. Batiste is the president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines mission. But does this justify his claim that he appointed Augustus? It leaves many questions that must be answered. The first of which, is it the duty, the job, or the responsibility of Ralph Gonsalves as Prime Minister and Minister of Finance to appoint diplomat? If so, what are the responsibilities of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the permanent secretaries in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the other high-ranking officials of that ministry? Isn't there a systematic protocol in place where our diplomats are appointed? Isn't there a systematic process of screening which the men and women who are so appointed must go through? Isn't there a systematic protocol by which we select, qualify, and appoint diplomats? Is there a training process in place to teach these diplomats, once they were approved and appointed, of the impact it will have on our country if their actions were not reputable and professional, if they acted outside the realms or the scope of their duty and get involved in matters that has to do with dishonesty, unethical practice, criminal and other practices? Isn't there such a program? I would like to know. Here we have a situation where the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, took it upon himself and without the appropriate consultation appointed his son Camilo Gonsalves as St. Vincent and the Grenadines ambassador to the United Nations, a very prestigious position. Unfortunately, Camilo Gonsalves ran afoul of the law in New York City and was arrested by the New York Police Department, the NYPD. Had it not been for Camilo's diplomatic immunity, he may have still been resting peacefully in a New York City prison. Another appointment that was made by Mr. Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, without consultation, is the appointment of Edson Augustus. We all know the story of Edson Augustus before he was ambassador. I will not go into that again. However, it is said that Edson Augustus was recalled from his diplomatic posting for activities that was outside the scope of his duties. In other words, Edson Augustus was involved in immigration procedure without the proper license, without the proper authority. He was selling illegal Vincentians the opportunity to earn a green card for up to $8,000 per person. He have promised to make these people eligible to be green card holders when they were not. All of these are a direct reflection on Ralph Gonsalves and his inability to effectively govern. Edson Augustus was left out in the cold. But there are some questions I would like to ask. The first question is, was Edson Augustus's action government sanctioned corruption? Was it? These are questions that we must find answers for as concerned citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There are some other questions I would like to ask, but these questions have to be directed directly to the Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves himself. And I will begin by asking him the first one. Prime Minister Gonsalves, isn't it true that in February of 2014, when Augustus returned to St. Vincent to be debriefed, that he was allowed to keep his diplomatic passport? Isn't it also true that before Augustus was recalled, the members of the diplomatic corps was issued with upgraded new St. Vincent and the Grenadines passport? Is it true that the people who Augustus has swindled out of their hard-earned money are all members of the ULP? People who have been contributing to the Argyle International Airport and to your re-election? Prime Minister Gonsalves, it is true that the only reason why Edson Augustus was recalled was because some of your big contributors in New York City was tired of his dealings. And they have threatened to cut you, Ralph Gonsalves, and the ULP off if you don't get rid of Augustus from New York City and out of his diplomatic portfolio. Isn't it true? Isn't it also true that the charade that you and Camilo put on for Vincent, giving us the impression that you were doing what is right because it was the right thing to do, was just a sham, and it all boiled down to the MONEY, the money, money, money? Money. Some people can't live without it. Isn't it true? This final question I have for you, and I want you to listen to it carefully and give me an honest answer. Mr. Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent, on any of your visits to the USA, particularly New York City, when you met with the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but when you were approached for help and intervention by members of St. Vincent and the Grenadines community in New York City who are illegal, have you ever told any of them or suggested to them to go and check Augustus, he can help you with your green card, or he can get your green card for you? Is that true? Have you ever uttered those words? Mr. PM, are we to believe, or are we to understand, that the green card racket that Augustus was involved in was really, truly, and honestly government-sanctioned corruption? Oh my goodness. I am waiting, and I sure half of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is waiting with me for honest answers to these questions. So, Prime Minister Gunstaff, do the right thing for once in your life. Speak the truth and start a legacy that will have some credibility on you and for your children. This has been my point of view, and I am Alan Palmer. Until we meet again, you be safe, and I will try to be.